All right. Well, last time we were sketching some shapes and we made a notch in a box, a couple notches really. We followed the 5 steps on the handout for that. Today, I've got something a little bit different for you. Here are, this is page 47, and this is out of a textbook. And there are 12 regular shapes. And I call them regular shapes because everything is a 10, 12, or 2 line. And if we look at the second page in your handout, or if I flip mine over, I've got a second page in the back. And this was page 49, got cut off a little bit. But all these shapes have some odd angles. So how do we deal with that? That's going to be our lesson today. How do we deal with these odd angles? We've got some angles that aren't 10, 12, or 2. So how do we deal with those? Well, let's start by creating a box. So let's start with a fresh box. And we're going to use a 10, 12, and 2 degree line. There's my 12. 10 o'clock will go this way. 2 will go that way. Okay? And let's complete our box. There we go. Another 12 o'clock line back here. Okay. And now this has to match like that. And this is a 2 o'clock, matches this line down here. All right. Okay. So there we go. We got a little bit close to the corner on the paper, but I think it'll go just fine. Um, what I'd like to do is I'd like to create this shape right here. It's 3 sections, and I put a star by it. This is the one I want to do. So how do we start it? Well, I'd like to start by dividing this top into thirds. Okay, so let's divide this into thirds, like so. And in the back, now I'm kind of missing this third back there, so that's going to be a little bit tricky, but we can make it work. All right, there's my third. And this one comes all the way down. So that's a 12 o'clock line. Let's look back at our shape. I'm going to fold this. There we go. So just remember which one we're doing here. It's this one with the star. Okay. So I've got 2/3 here. I've got my vertical right there. And then I've got to create an angle on this back corner here. From this point up to that corner, that's going to be a little bit tricky because I lost my corner. Let's work on this front angle first. So I'm going to start up here in the top corner and come down to the bottom. So I'm going to come from here down to the bottom corner there. And that's all I need to do. When I've got an angle that's not a 10, 12, or 2, I've got to find the points and connect the points. So this one goes here to here. I just have to make my pencil go that way. I need to add a little piece. This is going to come down from here. This will go this direction. I'm going to come down from here to there. Now this angle and this angle should be parallel because this is one slope. If we look back at the picture, see I've got a vertical here and I've got a little bottom edge. So these two sloped lines need to be parallel. Otherwise, it's going to make the slope look like it's tipped or twisting. So watch that. If you have to have parallel lines, then we need to keep our lines parallel. Even though they're not 10, 12, or 2, they could be some other angle and still need to be parallel. Now this is a 2 o'clock line. Remember, I can use my pencil. I can set it there, slide it back. All right. What do you think? Do you see it? Okay. I can darken up some of my lines here. And others I could erase, or I could just leave them light and darken everything else. Oops. There we go. Stay in the line there. Just darkening some things up. Okay, we can see that. This line is going to stay. So I can darken this one. And this line stays. And this one across the top is going to stay. At least to here, I'm going to stop right there for a second. And this one's going to stay all the way across. And let's see. This is a dark line right there. All right, so now I've got to work. Oh, I've got one more here. This one that divides my section stays. So now I've got to divide this back one. I'm going to come, let's look at our sketch. I'm going to come from this bottom corner to the top corner. I'm going to have to do a little bit of guessing on mine. I've got the bottom corner there. The top corner is just off my paper up here somewhere. So you know what? I could always slide another piece of paper under there. There we go. And I could finish my shape that way, as long as I keep these two lined up. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so now I've got to come from there to the bottom corner back here. Let's see if I can do that. Right about there somewhere. My pencil has a funny edge to it. I'm gonna have to hit that on the sharpener. All right. You see, I didn't go through this corner because I'm not gonna be able to see that right there. I've got a little shadow, so I like that. That'll work. Now I can go back and finish darkening. Okay, so this line goes all the way across the bottom edge. That looks good. And I will go back and darken this line here. I could erase this corner, and I could erase this corner over here if I wanted to. I don't. So I'll just leave it and I'll darken everything else in. What do you think? Let's go back and compare it to the handout. Do you see it? All right. So, yeah, I ran into a couple little issues, and you might. No big deal. Just make the best of it. And there's a shape with odd angles for part 3 in sketching. All right. Thanks. See you next time.